All right. All right, good morning and welcome to Morning Mothers. It's another beautiful morning. It's a Thursday morning, and this morning we have quite a full house. Curl, would I say everybody there? We're going to start off with Charlotte. We're going to ask Charlotte to introduce the persons that are on with us this morning. Good morning, Charlotte. How are you?
Good morning, Rhonda. We are alive. We survived.
Excellent. So tell us who you invited this morning.
So this morning we have Nicole Kane. She is the CEO of ISG Cares and the Good Deeds Day leader of Grenada. And we also have Angelique Roberto. And Angelique was one of our presenters at the Good Deeds Day conference on the AI segment.
Well, excellent. Nicole, good morning. How are you? Tell us a little bit about how you're feeling this morning.
Tired.
No, they're not true. They're not true. But if nothing else, look it. That's a good sign.
Oh my God. Listen, I feel like like I was in the washing machine for 10 days and the spin cycle just did its thing. So I am literally trying to recover.
Well,
But it was worth it. It was an amazing experience. It was wonderful. Everything went well. And I'm glad to look in the rear view mirror and be proud.
excellent. Angelique, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Thanks. I actually have my coffee, so I'm ready to sail. I am tired, but still energized from those 10 days. Well, for me, I think it was less. I represent the Caribbean Community Association here in Tampa, Florida, as the education chair. But I was in Belize to do two workshops, which is disruptions and then AI. So I had a ball because those are my passionate space. And Charlotte and Nicole allowed me to do that. And I think it was well received.
Yes.
Excellent.
Executed and received. Well executed and received.
Thank you, my dear.
Well,
Dita.
great. The ones that are just joining us that have no idea the backstory. Charlotte, I want you to tell us a little bit about what we are talking about this morning.
So we're talking about Good Deeds Day, something, Rhonda, we've talked on Morning Matters for a long time. We've been promoting it. I think this is our second. Is this our second or third year, Nicole?
Second. We joined in 24.
Yes. So we're trying to.
It feels like 10 years, but it's
I
almost.
know. It feels like we've been doing this for a while. So we've been doing Good Deeds Day in Belize and Grenada. It's been happening throughout the Caribbean, and we've brought it this year. We were brave enough to bring the Good Deeds Day Leadership Conference to Belize, where we had delegates from throughout the Caribbean attend the Leadership Conference for Good Deeds Day in Belize.
What was it like? Not only what was the organizing of it like, but what was the fulfillment? Was it fulfilling is really what I want to know. Did you feel that, wow, this is greater than I expected it to be? What was it, what was it like?
It was overwhelmingly better than what I mean, we always hope for the best, right? But I think it's the feedback that we got that really knocked us off our feet. I don't think there's nothing that us women that we put together can say is never good, but this one, just the response the feedback that we were getting back, I think we weren't expecting such great of a response.
All right, for somebody that's just joining us, that really maybe they are looking from Grenada or Guyana or somewhere else in the world, and they would like to be a part of this, because when you talk about it, not only does it sound good, I've seen that it is good, it does good. I see people sharing all sorts of things on it. How can they become a part of this? And not only for the days that you are in Belize or you're in Grenada or you're in St. Lucia, for constantly, how can they become a part of this organization? Nicole?
There's a website. I believe it's Good Deeds Day International, and they can read up more about it. Charlotte's on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. They can reach out if they have questions. We are more than happy to guide them. It doesn't require much. It's literally just do good. Anything positive that impacts someone, a group, the environment, anything positive. Good Deeds Day is one designated day per year. And during that time, if somebody wants to plan a project and, do gather 2, 3, 4, 5 people or 10, that is when they would do it through the website and sign up. And if they sign up, so for example, in Belize, if they signed up under Charlotte, they would ask her for t-shirts. She can order the t-shirts so they can really feel like they're a part of a community and they're just not off on their own, doing what they're doing, but be a part of the community and wear the shirts so that we could have that showing across, Same thing for Grenada, same thing for wherever there's a leader. But if they can't find that information, they could just reach out to us and we will guide them on how to do it.
How do you choose your projects? Sorry.
That's easy. That's the easy part. The easy part is, like I said, doing good, whether you're feeding the less fortunate, whether you're visiting the sick, beach cleanup, anything environmental, any positive impact on the environment, I think that's the easy part. Now, maybe a little funding might be the difficult part, but if you start early enough and you involve the community, you can do things that don't necessarily cost you anything. If you get a group together and you guys go hang out at the beach and, clean up, I don't think that's something that's going to cost a lot. Now, if you want to get involved in refurbishing a church, for example, then you might need paint and tools and stuff, and that might cost you, but it all depends on what level of the projects you want to choose, how ambitious you are. But we're here to guide you whichever and whatever way you want to go.
Angelique, I feel like we cut you off in the middle of you saying something.
No. I wanted to share that's how Nicole may join, like the CCA organization in Tampa. It's through Nicole, the organization signed up. We got our 40 t-shirts. So even locally here where I live, that is something that can be done easily. And now that I'm back, the organization is going to include students. And like what Nicole said, it doesn't have to be a big bang project. It could just mean something that we do in the community. And CCA does a lot in the community, but now we could branch off and include Good Deeds Day. There's a Good Deeds Day, group here in Tampa, so we can collaborate with them or we can do things on our own. And the reason why this is great, the younger generation, who are the students in the university, they're looking for something more generational that align with their generation, as opposed to, no disrespect, but sometimes hanging out with older geezers. They can learn from them, but you know what I mean. So done in a loving and heart-spirited way. But I think through Good Deeds Day, I find things that may align cross generations, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that, because when you said that you are there to teach AI, I'm thinking, how does AI tie into this? I mean, that would definitely spark a whole new generational interest, if you will. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, there were 2 workshops. One was disruption, which I think was aligned to what's happening in the Caribbean. And disruption has a framework called STEEP, that the acronym stands for social, technology, environmental, economics, and political. And today in the world, all those things are brewing together, and they cause disruption. So the first workshop, which I think went smoothly because a lot of people represented in that area, for example, the U.S. aid that got that the administration pulled was a $1.7 billion impact to the Caribbean and Latin America. And I think it was the Hurricane Beryl, that was an $85 million payout and still did not help Grenada that was hit hard. Then, based on the UN Sustainability Development Goals, each country chose one of their goals. And then we worked through using ChatGPT AI to have them develop strategies that they can actually take back to their country and implement in as a pilot. So I was impressed of the level of adoption that the participants was using ChatGPT, but they felt inspired and learned how they can enhance on that. And I must say that is a higher adoption than what I see in that same demographic here in Tampa, that I've been trying to have people alleviate their fear and embrace something that is scary, but if you're not part of it, you're not going to be in it. So that's is what I think. I was pleased because they embraced it, and I didn't feel like I had to force a knowledge that I think the world needs. But I think each leader went back with something that they can implement in their country.
I think that is exciting. I think that is definitely attractive because that is where the world is going. I mean, who writes a real letter anymore? You could keep your master's degree because everybody is using AI to make sure that it is exactly what you want it to say. So it's good to see that you have implemented that in something so important to humanity, if you will. So back to you now, Charlotte. What did this mean for you as a leader?
The conference or the AI piece?
The conference.
The conference. So, because I will give big credit, I think Nicole and I really push for Angelique to be part of this because we thought it was so important. Whenever you go to a conference, you want to take away something substantial with you, or one key thing that, oh, light bulb, I learned this, or I can take this back to my community. And I think that in our meetings and our discussions, why the big pull for us to bring Angelique on is because I wanted not only the Good Deeds Day leaders, but we also had individuals who are invited from our Belizean community that I thought could benefit from what we would have been presenting at the conference. So when Nicole and I sat and met about the structure of what the presenters or what we wanted to present, many of the things that were presented were what we thought was important in our line of when we were on the ground doing Good Deeds Day. So we had 26 participants from Belize that came from throughout the districts that came on board to participate in the Good Deeds Day conference. Some of them from governmental offices. So that it was very instrumental to see the room filled and to mingle along with our other delegates from the Caribbean. But one of the big things that we saw and we talked about is building bridges across the Caribbean. You know, we always think about, we can only focus on working with the United States, but we don't focus that, in the United States, there's so many diaspora, not just Belizean, but Caribbean as a whole. So learning to build that bridge and how to engage them, but not just, remember I said engage, not utilize, or not just gimme, and you're not giving back. It's all about the engagement piece and also how we can work and build bridges throughout the Caribbean with our Caribbean brothers and sisters. So I felt like that in itself just went extremely well. And I think that we're going to have much more partnership across the social pieces coming together.
Excellent. I mean, I'm excited. I'm sorry I couldn't be there, but I feel it to some degree that I was there when I saw you on one of the lives. I saw you at Bird's Isle. I mean, the energy was good, and you engage other Caribbean countries as well. I would imagine that a lot of Belizeans benefited more in many ways, directly and indirectly. Directly by the things that they got, indirectly by the knowledge that the leaders got that they're going to be able to spread to the people on a whole. Um, What's next? I gotta ask all of you that. What's next? Because Belize, it can't begin, and I know that Nicole is thinking, yes, it can begin and end in Belize. Right now, I think it can. You see that? I'm done. No. But it can't begin and end there. And the conversations, I would imagine, can't only be one time for a week in the year, and then we go dormant for a little bit. So what happens behind the scenes? What's the next step?
So the next step is planning what the Good Deeds Day activities will be for April and different activities throughout the year. But of course, and Angelique, I think Angelique doesn't realize that when she steps into on my brain, I'm already thinking like, what's next for Angelique? How we can get her involved? The steep portion that she presented was very, very well. The group really enjoyed it and wanted more. And I think that's one of the take back that we got, that the time wasn't just enough for her in all that she was presenting. So I think that's one of the things we need to sit at the board and see how we can sponsor Angelique to go back to Belize to do some more of these trainings around Steve, around the AI, because Rhonda, we didn't just talk about AI. It was a hands-on, and we had hands-on activities, how to engage it and how to utilize it. And of course, last night I already called Nicole with some stuff that are coming up already down the pipe. And she told me, listen, I'm going to sleep. Hang up the phone and call me tomorrow.
I told her to come off my phone. It's way too soon. It's way too soon. But Rhonda, it wasn't just a conference of people sitting in a room, talking, coming up with these great presentations. It was also for some of the leaders, many of the leaders actually, they fell in love with Belize. The business minded, the government people that were there from different countries, right away their brain just started going, and they're interested in partnering country to country, share ideas with Belize City. One leader I can think about is Dennis from Trinidad. He's the economic development officer for Trinidad and Tobago. And immediately he went right in with the deputy mayor, talking about, things that they're doing in Trinidad, and interest in things that Belize is doing, and how can we kind of do some sort of like an exchange program, exchange of ideas. You have a delegation come to us, we have a delegation come to you. They're big on upcycling, they recycle everything. So they want to share what they're doing, and they want to know what we're doing. So it goes beyond the week, the moment, and we hope that these partnerships actually develop and, go somewhere and things happen. But the interest was really, really, really great in what Belize is doing and what they're doing. They're happy to share, So
and one of the good things, we had a round table for corporate sponsors, and on the Sustainable Development Goals, climate action is one of the focus. And we didn't really plan it, but we didn't really see
it worked well.
It worked well because we had Bowen and Bowen, we had Belize Waste Control, and we had Container Mill, all around sustainability, eco-friendly, it was everything about the climate action. And it just paired out real well. And in the panel, it wasn't just about the climate action and a different organization, but we also had a Gen Z in the panel, which, I mean, they're our future. And that's what part of the conference, the topic came up is that we have to start to set the pace for them to take over. What's going to happen next? And it just fared out extremely well. It was like everything was just falling into place as we would have wanted it, even though we weren't really even thinking that that was what our focus was. But the corporate sponsor roundtable was extremely good, and it was three strong women leaders in businesses that are setting the pace for the future. So I couldn't say that piece didn't fare out well enough.
Right.
And I don't want to seem sexist on any level, but I see that
Well,
I see three women here. I see the organizers or the people that most of the time when you bring on people, I see that it is women involved. Do you feel that there is a need to invite more men, and how can you get them to a table like this? This question is for anybody that feels like they have the answer to this one.
I think that let me stop saying I think. I brought up where my dad felt that if women lead the world, it would be a better world. And I think it's in our DNA to just be nature. We're we nature we are more empathetic. That's just how it is. I have tried many times to bring my male partner, whether it's corporate or nonprofit, to the table, but for the soft space which is given, and this may sound sexist, but it's the reality. It seems that women are the ones that are the nurturers and lead in this space. There are men in the organization that I'm in, and they do very well. But I think from a leading perspective, kicking off, organizing, there's studies that shows women multitask and could do 16 things at once and survive. I find that men are great at strategy, maybe one thing at a time. They're great executioners, but women just by nature could handle 16 things at the same time and still get it done. I probably would be roasted for this remark, but I've seen in my life that that is the reality. And the gentleman that I do collaborate with recognizes that. So I think it makes a great marriage in how we execute. And that doesn't mean that men can't be at the table, but in this soft space, the nurturing space, this is where I see women. And even if you look at the leaders in the country that leads countries, it's usually in the soft challenges. That's my take. I stand by it, and I'll take whatever hit comes.
but I must add into Angelique. I mean, in our Kicking Off Good Deeds Day leadership conference for the Caribbean, it was all a group of women. We had full support from Her Excellency Rosanna Briseño, um, but and it was mostly women running. We were boots on the ground, just going, doing multitask everything. And the strategy piece, when the way Angelique says it really put light a candle because we cannot, and I think Nicole would agree too, we cannot give enough credit to the Deputy Mayor Elwood Miller. He was the only man on the team, but he did the strategy piece, and it's exactly how Angelique, we were on the boots running, but he made sure that the strategical portion was there for us in giving us that support. So Rhonda, I think he was the only male in the midst. Now that I think back, he was the only male in the midst of our organizing group. And he stood up, he stood there by us with us the entire way to the end. And I have to commend him on his full support to us. I really, that's a young man that I really admire in how he offers so much to the community and in giving back. So he was with us from the start to the finish, exactly how Andrew said he was the strategical portion.
Well, good. I'm trying to see if there's more men out there that would feel that they have a space in this. I noticed that you also brought I think there was a young man there from Trinidad, or two men from Trinidad. I'm not
Yes.
sure what their roles were, but generally, for the most part, I only see women. And I was just wanting to know, and some men might be sitting out there wanting to know if they feel that there's a space for them. And if there's a space for them, how can they become involved? Because I think that also it would be you want young men to join this team. You want young people, but not only young women, because you want to change. And I think the AI portion will definitely change the attraction, if you will. So I think that they want to feel that there's a draw for them. What can we do? How can we help other than physically go and picking up garbage? Because you can't just call us when it is garbage day. What can they bring to the table that you're going to say, this is what we need from the men? This is what we need from the young boys or young adults. I don't know, just so that they can feel a little bit more useful. Because we all want to be useful and we want to know where we can shine the brightest.
Right.
So
And
the leader, I'm sorry, go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Angie.
No, you go ahead.
The leader from Suriname is also a male, Humphrey,
Mhm.
and they've been doing this for a while. I mean, they're big on volunteering and attracting volunteers in their area. They do a lot. They've been with Good Deeds Day. I think since 2018, since Good Deeds Day came to the Caribbean. But there's also a lot that young men and men on a whole can do that does not require a lot. I mean,
Mhm.
mentoring, the younger group, helping, because as we know, especially in Belize, that's something that we're lacking. Um, the younger boys need that positive male figure to look up to, and adopt a little brother. You know, that's definitely one way they can get involved. Adopt a little brother, encourage your friends, your like-minded friends to do the same. Because Rhonda, you may remember back when we were growing up in Belize, there were a lot of youth groups.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm not sure that's the case anymore. I really don't know one way or another if it is, but maybe that's something that we need to think about. Boy Scouts. I remember that was the outlet for the little boys. Instead of being on the side of the road playing with rocks, you go to Boy Scouts. You join a community, discipline, stuff like that. So, like I said, good deeds could be anything. It's literally just considering somebody else and doing something positive that positively impacts someone else or the environment.
You
Mhm.
know, I like the big brother, big sister thing. I went to Polity, and in Polity, when we just like as soon as you join, you're assigned a big sister, and that person helps you out. And up to now, I still have a lot of respect for her. She was a great big sister at Polity, and I think that in the environment we don't have that. Oh, I don't know even if they still have it at Polity or not. But if they don't, or if they do, that's great. If they do, that's great. But we need it, just like you say, outside of that. Outside of that, I've never heard of it in Belize. I see organizations here that have big brothers, so I think that is a great that is something that we can adopt for our own community. Angelique, you wanted to say something? Sorry.
Yeah, it's just thoughts of reflection. I like how I said that. But I have to give kudos to Nicole and Charlotte because they had boots on the ground. They had their team ready to go. And for me, being a Belizean and being at home, I had like a out of body experience because you see the uniqueness of what Belize is, which I knew that people were going to see because of the different culture. the food aligns with the culture, the music. And I think the delegates had more like even a tourist experience because they had culture night. They went to the ruins. I think, Nicole, if I'm not wrong, some of them extended their stay. But
Yes.
Belize is unique as a CARICOM country because of our Pan American neighbors, which for the other countries, which are islands, and I always have to correct people here in America that Belize is not an island, but it was great to see the lens of Belize through someone else's eyes and the uniqueness and the richness of what the conference was able to show. But again, I have to give very impressed with Charlotte and Nicole and what they were able to accomplish. And my being a presenter and showing up was easy, but to live the experience after their work, my lack of sleep cannot be compared. So respect to you ladies. And I do a lot, but I don't do conferences. I show up for conferences. So much respect, and also for the boots on the ground that they already had. So that's my reflective thoughts. And thanks for having us here.
Oh, it's my pleasure and privilege. You know what? One thing about me, I want to know, and this is the easiest way to know all the time. All right. So I thank you all for coming here. Charlotte, we're winding down. Is there anything that you'd like to say before we leave?
No, gosh, there's so much I'd like to say in thanking. Like, I don't want to miss anybody, but we had an amazing team on the ground, I tell you. Once we hit that airport, we were going, and the volunteers that we had. And again, you see, if you have a great team and a great set of volunteers, and I think that's the whole push behind Good Deeds Day is volunteerism. And if we had such a great team, a strong set of women. Well, let me tell you, and Rhonda, you know my spiel and what I always complain about and what I always drive in Belize. And I always say, if we collaborate, we could move not even mountains. We could move a whole island and put it somewhere else that we want to put it. Strong women, and it's just a genre of ages that came
Yeah.
together
Yeah.
in volunteering with us. If you saw that team just going, and there was no bickering amongst us.
Oh no, everybody did their part. Everybody was always on the go. Hey, I need this, and that. Okay, I'm headed this way. This one's heading that way. Logistics came together because as you know, Rhonda, trying to host a conference in Belize, just the thought is a logistic nightmare, right?
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to do this? How you want to show this? How you get, everything's just so all over the place. And it came together like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Rhonda, the night when I call you for prayers, I'm the one I already like, whoa. Nicola said, don't worry. We got this. She's very okay. It's going. And I am just like, oh, but everybody just jumped in. I mean, I am still impressed. The team of volunteers, we cannot thank enough. All the corporate sponsors that stepped up, cannot thank enough. The governmental and the government piece, and this was what set our country above the rest for Good Deeds Day Caribbean Leaders Conference, is because we had the governmental support. We had the government really promoting the volunteerism. We had the city council, we had the mayor, the deputy mayor, we had Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Human Services, sorry. We had those pieces come out in addition with our corporate sponsors, and we had so many different corporate sponsors that came out. Even the people who businesses that we had to purchase stuff from ended up saying, oh, what is it for? And then we get discounts on it. So it was just to see that the support that we got, and for us to have done this from abroad and then to implement it in Belize was amazing. And then Well, it's like everybody was the yes and it was hard to find a no. When we call Angelique, she was like, yes, we can do this. And getting her piece in and just working towards a vision of what we wanted Good Deeds Day to be like in Belize. And I can't thank them enough, and I can't thank Nicole enough for allowing me to string aside and send her crazy when every time I say, but this is falling apart. She said, it won't work out. And then to have my prayer buddies on the side saying, we got this. We're praying back here that everything will be good and it will work out. And um, everything just set right in. People wouldn't know what was going on the back and that was wrong. Like when we met with Suriname, they were like, we couldn't tell anything was going wrong. And I'm like, really?
Nothing was wrong. It was just challenges that you overcame.
Yes. See,
Within minutes, because Charlotte brain works that, oh, there's a problem. So Charlotte goes from 0, there's a problem, to 100, that, oh my God, the world is falling apart. My brain works that 0, there's a problem, process, figure it out. What's the problem? So it was the two of us. I'm like, stop. It's not a problem. We'll figure it out. Except for the moment at the House of Culture when that strong hurricane breeze got caught under the tent, and I almost turned into Mary Poppins, but eventually worked out.
that was the most hilarious moment because Nicole is holding down one end of the tent and I am holding down the other tent, and we have other family members in there trying to hold it because we had someone that was cooking panades. That was part of the food for the night. It was all panades, garnaches, salbutas. And so there was a fire going on. So we're trying to hold on. And I don't know where that wind came from, but you should have seen us. And I just saw the pot cover flew and Nicole
Like a frisbee.
like
Such
a frisbee.
complaints.
But we had Nuani Martinez as the entertainment that night, and we had drummers. We had a whole genre of exposure for culture, which was very, very impressive, and to see the different um, cultural attire that came out. Um, Overall, it was very good. Now I can sit back, I can watch the pictures, I can laugh about it, we can talk about different things that had occurred. And last night when I called Nicole and I said, are you ready to help plan next year? And she said, get off my phone.
Okay, so
I'm like, what? It's crazy.
So Angie and Nicole, I don't know what your takeaway would be.
My takeaway is that everything was great. Whatever little, speed bump that came up, we promptly crossed over it and kept it going. If you weren't in the room when the speed bumps were presented, you would not have known that they were ever there. And we just kept going, and everything went great. I think it went better than great, actually.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
I wasn't part of the planning, but there's just lessons, and without hardship, I don't think we learn and grow.
Mhm.
So your challenges were probably just lessons that now whatever you do again, you're going to learn from it. But I didn't see anything, if there was anything to see. Charlotte, you just sometimes, I know you are probably tired. So that's the only thing that I saw. And even if I saw anything, I wouldn't probably interpret it that way. And I don't think others did, because you can't organize something of this magnitude and not have hiccups.
Yeah.
But then that's how the next one is going to be greater. So Rhonda disappeared. Rhonda, we just keep talking. It's
Oh
like
no,
40
I am
minutes.
I'm definitely trying to work on my camera, but we're coming to an end. Mike, obviously this is
Yes.
the first time that we're using this streaming platform, and I
Really?
am this is the first time that we're using this software, actually. This platform, yes, but the software, this is the first time we're using it. And I think it worked well, except my camera, but that is me. That is operator's error. That has nothing to do with the setup. So I want to thank all of you for coming this morning and waking up again so early, dragging you out to your bed, but definitely you came to bring a light that you normally bring and share it with the world. And for that, I thank you. Hopefully we can talk again soon. Talk a little bit more about the planning, what's happening, where, who should be getting involved, who can get involved, you know, and see where and when we meet next. Until then, I say thank you and have a lovely day.
Yeah,
You
thank you for
too.
having us,
Thanks for
and you have a
having us.
blessed one also.
Bye bye.
Bye, Charlotte and Nicole. I'll see you when I see you.